We can distinguish two types of leads. One is the MQLs and the other ones are the SQLs. It has nothing to do with databases. Basically means we have MQLs, which are marketing qualified leads, which are on the top of the funnel. They have given us their permission to send them more value, either through email or mail or messages. And then as we go further down, we have sales qualified leads. Now, these are the opportunities that we're looking for because we know that they have a budget, we know that they have a pain, we know that we provide the solution for their pain, the Band-Aid, and they are ready to buy. The focus should always be on the sales qualified leads, because marketing qualified leads, you can have loads who eventually never buy. They're window shoppers, they are content collectors, information collectors. That's all fine, that helps build our brand, but basically our focus are the sales qualified leads. Now let's start with the prospects. Now there are big questions that we need to ask ourselves and we need to find answers for that. So who is your customer? Who's the ideal customer and the prospect? Number two, what is your lead magnet? What's the form of content that you put out there that provides a lot of value for prospects? Where do you convert these prospects into leads? And how and where do you attract prospects? And finally, okay, you've got leads, but now what do you do with leads? Ultimately, you need to turn them into clients. So how do you do that? That's a separate session that we have next week, but just to keep that in mind. So these are all the big questions that you need to implement into your strategy to have a clear and transparent picture of how you go about your lead generation strategy. And then there's the fun part. We need to create an avatar of your ideal customer. And we need to think about different questions now. What are their challenges? What are the demographics? What are the sociographics? And who are you talking to? You really need to understand the person on the other side, or even the business on the other side. What are their challenges? What are their goals? What is it that they struggle with at the moment? And you can come in and help. Ultimately, you need to have a very good understanding of who your ideal client or customer is. You can use one of these customer avatar worksheets that you find. Here's an example where you can dig really deep into the avatar and the persona. You can define goals and values. You can define the gender, marital status, location, and so forth. Now that's a very good exercise to be very precise. I personally found that you don't necessarily need all of that. You can really break it down to the bare minimum to identify the ideal client. And this is basically how we do it at JRC. We are B2B focused. So that means we need to know what's the position of that person, what's their job title, what's their responsibilities within the company, what's the company headcount. Is it too small? Is it too big for us? We have a very defined target market and target audience. What's their revenue? Can they afford our services? And are they willing and ready to put aside a budget for the solutions that we provide? We are location-based, so it's very interesting for us to understand where they are and focus on particular regional markets as well, but also sector and market. So is it, for example, in our case, financial services, but it can be something completely different. But it's important for us to define that so we don't waste a lot of time and a lot of budget talking to people who are not our target audience. And also we need to ask ourselves, where do we find them? Is it on social media or somewhere else? So we really need to have a good understanding of our target audience. Now, once we have that, we can think of the lead magnet. And again, let's start with the definition. Lead magnet is a marketing term for a free item or service that is given away for the purpose of gathering contact details and convert these leads into paying customers. Let's highlight some words there as well. Number one, it's free. You need to make it free in order to collect data. And data is very important for us because as we collect data, we can expand our database and we can build our decision-making based on the data, which is far more advanced in terms of business strategy than just the hit and miss. The next one is the purpose of gathering contact details. Of course, we need to gather contact details. We need to know who is interested in our services, who's interested in our brand, who's interested in the solution that we provide. So we need to collect at least the minimum amount of data from these prospects. And ultimately, the goal is always to convert them into paying customers. We don't do it for fun. It's not a hobby. We always have the goal that we turn leads into paying customers. We need to make money. We need cash flow. And that's the ultimate goal for any business. So a lead magnet in general should provide massive value for your prospects. Massive value, but don't give away everything. So the secret sauce that you have in your business, the services that you provide, you shouldn't give away everything. It's enough to provide as much value as you can for free to trigger and spark that interest in your prospects, and then make them come to you wanting more. And you can do that in different ways. You can do that as a video, as a cheat sheet, or a white paper, pre-recorded workshops or sessions. You can do it in free strategy sessions, as we do right now as we speak. The bottom line is just choose one and focus on that. You don't need to have loads and loads of lead magnets, especially when you're starting out or when you focus on a particular target audience and target market. It's enough to have one that covers a lot of pain points, but also a lot of the solutions that you provide. Here are some examples. What can we do? We can curate content. We can write case studies, graphics, charts, videos, ebooks, surveys, newsletter, quizzes, press releases, podcasts, infographics. There's a whole universe out there of content forms that you can use. Now, not all of these forms and types of content are a good fit for you. I really like to write, so ebooks, white papers, that's really something I love to do. I love to talk, I love to speak, so these free strategy sessions, that just works for me and is pretty cool and very valuable for me, but also for people who join the strategy sessions. So whatever it is that you feel comfortable with, just choose that. You don't need to do everything, just focus on what you love to do and that comes natural to you. But also on the other side, keep in mind what your target audience consumes. If they consume blog articles or white papers and you're the video guy or the YouTube guy, there's a disconnect. So all of these things need to come together in your strategy, and you need to think about these things as well and just formulate a strategy that works for you and your business. And here are some live examples of what we do. We have a lot of cheat sheets, we have a lot of white paper, we have books, we have the content calendar, which is just new. We do the replays of the recordings that we do. And all of that is on our website. You can check it out, josephreis.co.uk. There's a whole plethora of what we do because the content that we create is reused and recycled. This is the sign-up form if you want to download the white paper From Plateau to Exponential Growth. Put in your email, put in your name, submit, and you get instant access. And we get the data from it. We get your email, we get your name, and that's the first set of data that we get that will put you into the sales funnel that we've created. Here's another example, the daily planner, same principle, email, name, submit, you get instant access to it. It's a free download. All our free resources can be found if you want to check them out at josephreis.co.uk/free. Have a look and see if something resonates with you. And if it does, just download it. Conversion place. So what do I mean with conversion place? The best place for converting prospects or visitors into leads is your website. Why? Well, because you own the data. Right? You own the data, you can retarget visitors, you get the data from newsletter signups or forms, as we've just seen. You get the name, you get the email, you get the phone number. Sometimes depends on where they are in the funnel, because with data, we can grow, and with data, we can make sophisticated decisions. And data basically is the driver for our ROI eventually. Taking ownership of data enables us to measure and design a strategy so we can make sophisticated business decisions. Next up to the prospecting. As we said, just choose one place where your prospects are. One is enough. I know there's loads out there. There's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everybody thinks they need to do everything. No, not really, right? Don't get distracted by doing everything everywhere. Focus your efforts. Have a look at where your prospects are most of the time. If it's B2B, most likely it's LinkedIn. If it's B2C, if it's younger target audience or even parents, it might be TikTok, might be Instagram. Just pick one and stay with it until you've seen success and you've seen the first results coming in. This is the platform that I chose. I chose LinkedIn. I used to be on Twitter and have done some things on it, but it's not a platform that resonates with me. So LinkedIn is definitely something that I love to do. I'm on LinkedIn every day. I post every day. And basically that's the place where I can convert and generate leads through my profile by posting images, audio, video, polls, but also industry news. So that's a perfect place for me. Find your perfect place for you. Find the perfect platform for you with a great overlap of where your target audience is most of the time. If you haven't, connect and follow me on LinkedIn. It's pretty easy. Joseph Rice, you can find me on LinkedIn. So every interaction with your content puts you and your brand on the screen and in the back of the minds of your prospective buyer. That's really important to understand and always remember. The more they interact with you, the more they trust you, and the more they see you as the authority in that sector or in the market where you are. But it also means that an interaction can also be they have seen your post on their timeline, but they didn't interact, they didn't like, they didn't share, they didn't comment. That really doesn't matter, but it's an interaction. They've seen that you posted something. They've seen that you are there on that platform. They've seen that you put out value there. There are a lot of people who don't comment, who don't like, who don't share, and that's absolutely fine. But as long as they see what you are doing on a consistent basis, that's what puts you on their map eventually. And also choose the platform that works best for you and dominate it. And domination in that sense is not a bad word. It simply means that you are the number one go-to person for your prospective buyers, for your leads. There's nobody else that knows anything more or better than you about topic X, Y, Z. And that's why you need to dominate that platform. And you can only achieve that if you focus on one platform, right? If you focus on many other platforms, or you try to do everything, that's not really effective. So focus on that one platform that works for you, that works for your potential clients and prospects, and be really out there and take that platform and make it your own. So be the authority in your target market for your target audience on your platform. Lead nurturing, we talked a little bit about that. Why do you need to nurture your leads? Several reasons here. Number one, you build authority. Number one, you build trust and you get attention. And that altogether lowers the action threshold of your leads and ultimately makes them buy from you. Get them on the phone or get them on your online shop and make them buy. Make them sign up, make them buy your services or buy your products. As long as we have the authority and the trust and we have the attention of our prospects and the threshold is so low that they simply click the buy button or they give you the yes on the phone, that's the ultimate goal. And lead nurturing can be done through various things. For example, testimonials, case studies, or added value, meaning more complementary content, more blog posts, more cheat sheets, more videos, and so on. of course, everything for free in that lead nurturing sequence. So we also can establish that we need different content for different stages of our sales funnel. So just a reminder, we have the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. Each of these phases need different content because the prospect is in different stages of their buying process. So they need different sorts of information. If they are on top, they need different sorts of information when they're in the middle and also when they're on the bottom. So how do we do that? We can either do that by retargeting, which works quite well. So we put out content to the visitors of our website, and then we put ads in front of these visitors. And these ads are tailored to where they are in their journey. It also depends on which pages they went to on our website. So we can tailor that very diligently and very thoroughly. But it also means that's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of strategy to be done and a lot of execution on the other side as well. Now, the other way that you can do that is through an email nurturing sequence. So you don't have to retarget anything. As long as you have a lead magnet and you have people signing up for it, where do they go? They go into your sales funnel. You basically send them a sequence of emails with different content, depending on where they are in the funnel. They are on top when they sign up, then they build trust and see you as an authority, and they go down in the funnel until ultimately they are ready for the sale. It looks something like that. We have the lead magnet, then we can send them a thank you email with a link attached to the lead magnet again. And then we follow up every week or every day or every 3 days with valuable content, maybe some blog posts, case studies, testimonials. We basically push them down into the funnel until we finally can send an email with a CTA. And a CTA is a call to action. So a call to action in B2B would be book your free consultation here, or get on the phone with one of our advisors, whatever it is. In B2C, it could also be, here's a product that you might like, go to a web shop, for example. There's a lot of things that you can do depending on your business model and your target audience, of course. But basically, that's how it looks like. You push them through from top to bottom with valuable content, building trust, building authority, with social proof, with case studies, with valuable content. And then at the end of the sequence, you ask them for their time and to book a session with you. Technology. We have to talk a little bit about technology. So how do we do that? There are so many ways how you can do it. In creating a lead magnet, you can use Word, you can use Apple or Google Drive to write. You can use Canva to create a cover for the lead magnet and so forth. Many tools that you can use. Many are for free, many you need to pay for. In terms of the website, I really love WordPress. It's been around for so many years now. And it's really reliable, and you can do so much with WordPress. For CRM or booking a call, you can use HubSpot. You can also use Calendly or any other software out there. For the lead nurturing sequence, we found that Sender.net is really good because you can really design the lead nurturing sequence into the details and then basically hand them over into the HubSpot CRM for the calls. And for the calls, you can use Skype, you can use Zoom, you can use Teams, whatever tickles your fancy. It really doesn't matter. There's a lot of good software out there. At the end of the day, that's what we use. Sender.net, MailChimp, HubSpot, Canva, WordPress, whatever works for you. So there are things that might work better for you. Just absolutely fine. Just go with it. Just a quick reminder that we're also introducing a hands-free lead generation service that basically does all of these things that I described for you. We have a limited access during the pre-launch phase, which we are in at the moment. So we're in the pre-launch phase. If you're interested, just drop me an email, consulting@josephrice.co.uk, and we can go through the different packages and the services that we provide, and also the benefits that you get out of this hands-free lead generation service for your business. Coming up, the next sessions, quick outlook, 15th of June, which is that next week. My God, time flies. Qualifying leads. As I said, you've got leads, what now? You need to qualify them, especially in the sales call or in an in-person meeting. There are certain methodologies and techniques that you can apply, and specifically questions that you should be asking in order to qualify the leads to see if they're a good fit for your business as well. We discuss that next week. And then the week after, sales script and objections. A sales script is very helpful, less you read it word by word. So I wouldn't recommend that. But this session really comes from my heart. So I hope that you take advantage of that. Again, it's free. And that's it for now, for the topic of lead generation. Before we move to the questions that you have, again, here's the free download and replays of all of the sessions. Just go to josephrice.co.uk/free. Everything's for free. Also, we still have our exclusive LinkedIn group. That's the link, josephrice.co.uk/LinkedIn. And now let's see your questions. We have one question. How can lead generation be planned? It can be planned quite easily. You need to have a strategy. You need to lay out everything that we discussed today. You need to know who your target audience is. You need to know who your prospects are, your ideal clients, and then you need to put it into a strategy. You need to think about where do you find them, and then start targeting them very diligently. So it can be planned, it should be planned, because it's an ongoing process. And also it might be that you need to adapt and change the strategy. But lead generation in general is something that you should be doing on an ongoing basis, because you want to have your sales funnel always filled with more leads than you can talk to. That's the ideal place. If you're running out of leads, that's the place of desperation. So you need to do it on a consistent basis. And also from a business growth strategy, of course, you need to think about what's the lifetime value of a client and how much can I spend on lead generation. So yes, all of that can be planned, needs to come together in one strategy, and then the execution part, of course, is very crucial, and it's to be on an ongoing basis. How can you monitor all the data that comes through? Very good question, very good question. Well, we said in, I think, the last session that as soon as we measure and monitor our data, we can make business decisions. So we need to have tools and software, how we can measure the data, how we can measure how many prospects do we generate, how many people sign up, for example, one lead magnet, how many of them go down into the funnel and eventually end up in a sales call and then eventually turn into a paying client. So these are all things in between the sales funnel, but also outside of the sales funnel. We need to measure what lead magnet performs best. We need to measure which platform performs best. We need to measure which persona performs best, which persona is most likely to sign up, to download our lead magnet, and then eventually go down the sales funnel. So remember the distinction between QML and SQL. So we need to be very aware of that, what percentage of all the people in our sales funnel are rather QMLs and who are SQLs, so sales qualified leads versus marketing qualified leads. So there needs to be a structure in there and tools implemented where you can measure every touch point from posting your content, posting your lead magnet, and then into the sales funnel. Tools, for example, like Google Analytics, like Buffer tools, your email provider, HubSpot, for example, your website. You need to measure a lot of things on the way to really have an understanding what works best, because only when you understand what works best, then you can optimize, then you can improve, and then you can also improve the ROI, right? So the more you are focused and the more good hits you have, The more you optimize your strategy, the higher the ROI will be, and the lower the spend on marketing or sales will be. And of course, the higher the outcome as well, the higher the lifetime value of the client as well. When conversion is mentioned, what is it that we are measuring? Okay, so we have different conversion rates, right? So at every touch point, we basically have a conversion. So for example, on our website, we have a lead magnet, right? So the conversion rate would be how many visitors do we have and how many of these visitors sign up and download that lead magnet. That's one metric, right? That's one conversion rate. And then also another conversion rate is in the sales funnel. How many of the people in the sales funnel really go down to the bottom of the sales funnel, meaning they are qualified or pre-qualified for handing it over to sales. So there's another metric. And then from these sales qualified leads, how many of them actually turn into paying clients? So that's only in the sales funnel and the website and the conversion place that I mentioned. But we can measure a lot more than that. We can measure the conversion in terms of followers. We can measure the conversions, how many followers clicked on the link in our bio and did something, right? Did action X, Y, Z. So in order to be very precise with that, we just need to have all these measuring tools in place and at the right places so that we can understand our target audience. We can understand how they think, what they like, what they don't like, how they react to the lead magnets that we put out, how they react to the content that we put out, but also do they see us as an authority, and are they willing to give us their email address and their contact name for a value X, a lead magnet, for example, and then going down into the sales funnel. And then after the sale is closed, what's the retention rate, right? How many clients, how many customers buy again? That's another conversion rate, or that's another metric that you can measure. In terms of newsletter marketing, there's also a sort of lead generation. So how many people who received the newsletter clicked on a link, right? Wherever that link leads, can lead to a lead magnet, can lead to a blog post, can lead to a product or an e-commerce shop, really doesn't matter. But there's another metric that you can measure. So all of that comes together in a very nice universe to help you understand your business and your target audience better, and to make better decisions that ultimately lead to more revenue, better profitability, and more sales ultimately. Very good question. Thank you very much.